Have you ever seen a man's whole world shatter in a single moment? I mean, truly break into a million pieces. Victor Okafor thought he had already won. He sat in the Port Harcourt High Court on a hot Tuesday morning, smirking as his wife, Joy, sat alone and helpless. He had frozen her bank accounts. He had told the judge she was too poor and foolish to hire a lawyer. He was about to take everything from her. But then, the heavy courtroom doors flew open with a bang that made everyone jump. Standing there was not a simple lawyer. It was a woman in a brilliant white suit, her silver hair sharp as a blade, her eyes like fire. She walked in like a queen, with 3 lawyers marching behind her. Victor's own lawyer, the famous barrister Omochinwosu, turned pale as a ghost. He whispered 2 words filled with pure fear, "The Iron Queen." The woman went straight to Joy's table. She looked at Victor, and her smile was colder than ice. "Apologies for my delay," she said, her voice filling the silent room. "I was finalizing documents about Mr. Okafor's hidden millions in Dubai." She then turned to the judge. "I am Helen Adakunle. And I am representing my daughter, Joy Okafor." Victor's heart stopped. Joy's mother. But Joy had told him her mother was dead. How could this be? And who was this terrifying woman everyone seemed to fear? Hi guys, welcome to Echoes of the Baobab Tree. Kindly subscribe to our channel, like and share the story to your loved ones. Let us rewind. To understand this shocking moment, we must go back 2 years, to a happier time in the city of Port Harcourt. It was December 2021, and the air was filled with the smell of Christmas cooking. Joy Okafor hummed as she arranged beautiful Ankara fabrics in her small shop, Joy's Creations, in the Rumuola market. She was a talented fashion designer, known for her gentle smile and kind heart. Her husband, Victor Okafor, was a senior manager at a big oil company. He drove a big Jeep and wore expensive watches. People in their neighborhood in the old GRA area respected him. But at home, Victor's smile was different. It was often a sneer. He would look at Joy sewing and say, "This is just a hobby. Stop dreaming. My money is what matters." Joy ignored the sting of his words. She loved Victor, or at least, she loved the man he used to be when they first married in 2015 in her hometown of Enugu. Back then, he was charming and ambitious. But slowly, like poison dripping into water, he changed. He started controlling all the money. He called her family village people. He made her feel small. One evening, as Joy prepared his favorite pepper soup, Victor came home with a document. "Sign this, Joy," he said, not even a greeting. It was a paper saying all his properties and money were his alone, even if they divorced. "It's just for business. Everyone does it," he said. But his eyes were hard. When Joy hesitated, he leaned close. "Your younger sister, Grace, is looking for a job in my company, isn't she? It would be a shame if something happened." Joy's hands trembled. That night, she signed the paper with tears in her eyes. Months passed. Victor grew richer and crueler. Joy found text messages on his phone from a woman named Blessing. Her heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. When she confronted him, Victor laughed. "What will you do, Joy? You have nothing. You are nothing without me." He began staying out all night. Joy cried alone in their big, empty house. She felt trapped, like a bird in a golden cage. She thought of her mother. They had not spoken in over 20 years. After her father died, Joy's mother, Helen, had become a powerful lawyer in Lagos, always busy, always demanding. Young Joy wanted a simple, loving life, not her mother's world of courtrooms and contracts. They had a big fight, and Joy ran away to university in Port Harcourt, changing her last name and cutting all ties. She told everyone her mother was gone. The pain of that rejection was a deep, old wound. Then, in March 2023, Victor finally showed his true plan. He served Joy divorce papers. He wanted to throw her out with nothing. He moved all their money to secret accounts. He even spread nasty rumors about her to their friends. Soon, Joy's phone stopped ringing. She was completely alone. With her last 5,000 naira, Joy went to see a lawyer. But when the lawyer heard she was fighting Victor Okafor and the mighty barrister Omochinwosu, he shook his head. "My dear, you cannot win. Save your money. Just go back to your village." Joy walked out of his office, the hot sun burning her tears. She was defeated. But deep inside Joy, a small, fierce fire began to burn. It was the memory of her mother. Helen Adakunle was the strongest woman she knew. What would her mother do? She would fight. With a shaking hand, Joy found an old email address. She typed a simple, desperate message. "Mama, I need help. Victor is trying to destroy me." She pressed send, her heart pounding. Would her mother even see it? Would she care after all these years? The next day, her phone rang. The voice on the other end was crisp and clear. "Joy. It's your mother. Tell me everything. Do not leave out a single detail." For the first time in years, Joy sobbed with relief. Meanwhile, Victor was celebrating. He took his girlfriend, Blessing, to a fancy restaurant in Lagos. "By next week, it will all be over," he boasted, drinking expensive wine. "She will be begging on the streets. I will teach her a lesson for daring to question me." He had no idea that a storm was gathering. A storm named Helen. Helen Adakunle worked through the night in her Lagos office. She called a team of her best lawyers and forensic accountants, experts who hunted hidden money for the government. "I want every secret Victor Okafor has ever buried," she instructed, her voice like steel. "Find it all." The day of the first court hearing arrived. Joy put on her simple grey dress. Victor had even taken her good clothes. She arrived at the courthouse early. Victor arrived later, with barrister Omochinwosu. They laughed loudly as they walked past her, not even looking her way. Joy's stomach twisted with fear. Where was her mother? Inside the courtroom, the air was hot and still. Justice Okoro, a serious judge with a strict reputation, called the case. Victor's lawyer immediately stood up. "My lord," Barrister Nwosu said smoothly. "Mrs. Okafor has no lawyer. She is wasting the court's time. We ask for a quick judgment." The judge looked at Joy with pity. "Mrs. Okafor, is this true? Do you have a lawyer?" Joy stood up, her knees weak. "Yes, my lord. She is coming. Please, just a little more time." Victor could not hold back his laughter. "She is lying," he shouted. "She has no one. Her mother is dead. She is a foolish woman who cannot even afford bus fare." The judge banged his gavel. "Silence, Mr. Okafor." But Victor's mocking smile remained. He leaned over and whispered to his lawyer, loud enough for Joy to hear, "This is like shooting a fish in a barrel. Too easy." Joy felt humiliation burn her cheeks. She stared at the wooden doors, praying for a miracle. The judge sighed, reaching for his gavel to proceed without her counsel. It seemed all hope was lost. And that is when it happened. Boom! The doors exploded open, crashing against the walls. Everyone jumped, even the judge. All heads turned. There she was. Helen Adakunle. The Iron Queen. She stood in the doorway, a powerful silhouette against the bright hallway light. She removed her sunglasses, and her gaze swept the room, finally landing on Victor. The color drained from his face. Barrister Nwosu actually dropped his pen. She walked in, her heels clicking like a ticking clock. The entire courtroom was frozen in silence. She went straight to Joy, placed a hand on her shaking shoulder, and then turned to face her enemy. Victor's mouth hung open. Who are you?" he stammered, his confidence gone. Helen's lips curved into a smile that held no warmth at all. "I am Helen Adakunle," she announced. "And I am Joy's mother." She then looked at the terrified barrister Nwosu. "Hello, Omochi. I see you're still bullying those who can't fight back." "Well, the fight starts now." Victor felt a chill of terror crawl up his spine. He had made the biggest mistake of his life. The real battle had just begun, and he was completely unprepared for the fury of a mother scorned. What was this powerful woman going to do next? The silence in the courtroom was so thick you could taste it. Victor Okafor stared at the woman who had just announced she was Joy's mother. His brain refused to work. This was impossible. Joy was an orphan from a poor village. She had no powerful family. Yet the terrified look on his lawyer's face, Barrister Omochi Nwosu, told him this was very, very real. Helen Adakunle did not sit down. She placed her expensive briefcase on the defense table with a decisive click. "My lord," she said to Justice Okoro, her voice calm but echoing with authority. "I apologize for the dramatic entrance. My jet from Abuja was delayed. Now, shall we correct the slander my client has endured this morning?" She turned her sharp eyes to Victor. "You called my daughter foolish and poor. Let us see who is truly foolish." 2 weeks earlier, in her high-rise Lagos office, Helen had received her daughter's email. Her heart, a muscle she thought hardened by decades of corporate battles, cracked. Her joy was in trouble. For 20 years, pride had kept her away. Now, a mother's fury burned away all pride. She activated her most ruthless team. They dug into Victor Okafor's life like archaeologists of death. They found his secret apartment in Lekki, bought with marital funds for his girlfriend. They traced hidden money to Dubai. They even recovered deleted text messages where Victor threatened Joy. Helen worked day and night, a general preparing for war. Her only regret was that it took this crisis to bring her back to her child. Back in the courtroom, Helen began. "My lord, we submit evidence that Mr. Okafor committed perjury. His sworn financial affidavit claims he is worth 35 million naira. She handed a thick file to the court clerk. "My forensic accountants found another 98 million naira hidden in offshore accounts and shell companies." He lied to this court. Victor jumped up. "Lies. All lies," he shouted, but his voice was shaky. Barrister Nwosu pulled him down, whispering urgently, "Sit down. Do you know who she is? She built the legal framework for the Financial Crimes Commission. She will eat you alive." Helen continued, unleashing one shocking truth after another. She revealed the forged signature on the property loan. She presented bank statements showing Victor's lavish spending on his girlfriend while Joy struggled. With every document, Victor shrunk in his seat. His expensive suit seemed to swallow him. Finally, Helen called her witness. The courtroom doors opened, and Blessing, Victor's girlfriend, walked in. Victor's eyes bulged. Blessing, looking ashamed but determined, told the court how Victor had bragged about crushing his wife and leaving her with nothing. He said it would be fun to watch her beg, Blessing said, refusing to look at him. Joy listened, her tears now flowing freely, but they were tears of release. The hearing ended with Justice Okoro's face dark with anger. He looked at Victor with pure disgust. "Mr. Okafor, your conduct is despicable. You are a thief, a liar, and a bully." He then announced his temporary orders. All of Victor's assets were frozen. Joy was given sole right to their home. Victor was ordered to vacate immediately. And the case was referred to the EFCC for criminal prosecution. Victor was destroyed. He stumbled out of the courtroom, his world in ruins. Outside, he saw Helen and Joy embracing, a reunion filled with tears and whispered apologies. He had nothing. He was nothing. But the story was not over. As Helen and Joy left the courthouse, a black Mercedes pulled up. Joy's father, Helen Adakunle, stepped out. Joy had not seen him in over 20 years. Her heart leapt with a confused mix of hope and old pain. Helen was not there for a happy reunion. He was a hard businessman. "Victor owes my company 15 million naira, he said coldly. "He used the house as collateral. The house now belongs to me." Joy felt the ground disappear again. She had just won back her home, and now her father was taking it. Helen, however, was ready. She smiled her dangerous smile. "Samuel, you never do your homework. The house is in a family trust. Joy never signed your loan agreement." Victor forged her signature. She showed him the evidence. "Your loan is invalid. If you try to take the house, I will sue you into oblivion and tell every newspaper how you tried to steal from your own daughter." Samuel, a proud man, was outmaneuvered. He looked at Joy's strong, tear-streaked face and felt a shame he hadn't felt in years. He sighed, defeated. I am sorry, Joy," he muttered, before getting back in his car and driving away. 3 months later, Joy's life was new. With her mother's support, she healed. The law moved swiftly. Victor was arrested by the EFCC. All his hidden wealth was found and returned. The court awarded everything to Joy: the houses, the cars, the investments. Victor was left with only the clothes on his back and a looming prison sentence. Joy, with her newfound peace and resources, returned to her passion. She painted great, vibrant canvases that told stories of pain, strength, and victory. Her mother encouraged her, becoming the supportive pillar Joy had always needed. One evening in Lagos, Helen showed Joy a news article on her tablet. The headline read, "Former oil executive sentenced to 7 years for fraud and money laundering." There was a picture of Victor, being led into Karikiri prison in handcuffs, looking old and broken. Justice was complete. Joy felt no happiness, only a quiet closure. The monster was gone. "Thank you, Mama," she whispered, leaning her head on her mother's shoulder. "For everything." Helen kissed her forehead. "You never have to thank me, my child. A mother's job is to protect her own." The grand finale was Joy's art exhibition, Rebirth, at a famous gallery in Lagos. The place was full of people, laughter, and music. Every single painting was sold. Joy, radiant in a blue and gold dress she designed herself, was no longer the frightened woman from the courtroom. She was an artist, a businesswoman, a survivor. In the corner, Helen Adakunle watched her daughter shine, her heart full. Her phone buzzed again, a message from Samuel, asking if he could maybe visit Joy next week. Helen smiled. Maybe some wounds could heal, too. As Joy laughed with a crowd of admirers, she knew her life was finally her own. Victor had tried to break her, but he had only made her stronger. He had underestimated the quiet woman, forgetting one ancient truth: never underestimate the power of a mother's love. For when a mother rises to defend her child, she is the most powerful force on earth. And for Joy, that force had not only saved her, it had finally brought her home. Thank you for watching.